You ever find something so small, so ordinary, that it flips your entire life upside down? It was supposed to be just another Saturday. My son Eli had soccer practice. I had coffee in one hand, cheering him on while his dad, Reed, stood beside me cracking jokes like always. We grabbed burgers afterward, came home, let Eli loose in the backyard, and everything felt normal, comfortable. Later that afternoon, I decided to finally clean out Reed's car. He'd been saying he'd get around to it for weeks, but never did. So I grabbed a trash bag and got to work. The usual mess. Old receipts, snack wrappers, one of Eli's missing socks. I was almost done when I opened the glove compartment. That's when I found it. A small velvet pouch, soft, worn, and completely out of place. Inside was a gold necklace, delicate, with a tiny sapphire hanging at the center. It was beautiful, and I had never seen it before in my life. It wasn't mine, and I knew it didn't belong to anyone we knew. My first instinct: denial. Maybe it was a forgotten gift. Maybe he bought it for me and hid it for a surprise. But the chain wasn't new. It had that aged, loved look. The velvet pouch looked like it had been held a lot. This wasn't a new purchase. This was personal, intimate, and it definitely wasn't meant for me. I didn't say anything that night. Not at dinner, not after Eli went to bed. Reed was making pancakes for the morning and talking about weekend plans like everything was perfectly fine. But I couldn't shake the feeling. That quiet itch in your gut that says something isn't right. You know what I'm talking about. When your instincts whisper before your heart can catch up. When we were finally alone, I pulled the necklace from my purse and held it out. Where did this come from? Reed looked at it, then at me. And he smiled, not the normal kind. A strange, faraway sort of smile. It belonged to my first wife, he said. At first I thought I misheard him. Or that he was joking. I laughed nervously. What do you mean? You told me you've never been married. And I swear to you, he didn't blink. He didn't flinch. I haven't, he said. To you. I stood there frozen, holding the necklace, while the air drained from the room. Something cracked in that moment. Quiet but permanent. This man who I'd shared 8 years of my life with, who helped me raise our son, who told me everything about his past, or so I thought, just casually dropped a truth that shattered all of it. That night I packed a bag. Eli was asleep when I carried him to the car. His little arms clung to his favorite dinosaur plush as I buckled him in. I told him we were having a sleepover at Aunt Calla's. He smiled sleepily and drifted back off before we even hit the end of the street. Calla didn't ask questions when we arrived. She opened the door in sweatpants and a hoodie, gave me a hug that lasted longer than I expected, and whispered, "Guest room's ready. And I've got wine." That night, after Eli was tucked in, I sat at her kitchen table, staring at the necklace. I told her everything. What Reed said, how calmly he said it, how he acted like it wasn't a big deal. And Calla, she didn't even try to sugarcoat it. "Mara," she said, "you don't lie about something like that. You don't hide an entire marriage and act like it's a minor detail." I wanted to argue. I wanted to believe there was still some explanation that would make it all okay. But deep down I knew better. This wasn't about a forgotten story. It was a truth deliberately buried. Calla pulled out her phone and said, "I'm calling Uncle Jace." Uncle Jace was a retired cop who now did private investigations, background checks, missing persons, you name it. He wasn't the warmest person in the family, but if there was something to find, he'd find it. And fast. The next morning before the sun came up, I was sitting in her kitchen, clutching a mug of lukewarm coffee when she slid her phone toward me. "He wants to talk to you." I stepped outside and called. Jace answered on the second ring. "I heard Reed's been keeping secrets," he said. "That's putting it lightly," I muttered. I told him everything. The necklace. The first wife bombshell. The way Reed looked at me like he wasn't even hiding. Jace didn't waste time. "Give me his full name. Any old addresses. I'll start digging." I gave him what I had and went back inside. I didn't realize how tightly I was gripping the phone until I saw the red marks on my hand. What if I'm wrong? I whispered to Kala. What if I'm just being paranoid? She didn't hesitate. You're not. You felt something. You saw something. That's real. Trust it. Later that day, I went back to the house to grab a few more things. Clothes, Eli's schoolbooks, my laptop. Reed's car was in the driveway. But he didn't come out. The house felt wrong. Like the air itself knew something had shifted. I avoided our bedroom and went straight to his office. That's when I saw it, the drawer in his desk. That drawer had never been locked before. I found the spare keys tucked in the hallway closet. My hands were shaking as I tried them, one by one, until I heard the soft click. Inside were manila folders, papers, and a small photo album. I opened it and my heart stopped. Reed younger. Smiling. His arm around a woman I'd never seen before. Dark hair, quiet eyes. She looked camera-shy but happy. And in one of the pictures, she was holding a little girl. A baby in a pink hat. My breath caught. I took photos of everything with my phone, closed the album, locked the drawer, and walked out of the house without saying a word. Back at Kala's, I showed her the pictures. She didn't say anything for a long time. Then she looked up and said, "He had a family. Before you. Wife. A child." I couldn't speak. I felt like I'd stumbled into a story I was never supposed to read. One that Reed had carefully erased. Until I opened that glove box. That night I sent him a message. I know about her. And the child. Don't come near me or Eli until I understand what this is. He replied almost instantly. You don't understand. I didn't hurt anyone. Please come home. Let me explain. I didn't reply. I turned off my phone. And I sat there on Kala's couch, holding the photo I'd printed from my phone. Reed smiling, the woman beside him, the baby in his arms. And I realized. I didn't know who he really was. But I was going to find out. 3 days later. My phone rang while I was packing strawberries into Eli's lunchbox. It was Jace. My hands froze. I found him, he said. I dropped the knife. I found who Reed used to be. His real name was Mason Reed Alcott. He changed it 9 years ago, right after his wife Lisa Alcott was declared dead. I felt the blood drain from my face. Declared dead how? She was found at the bottom of a lake, he said. Suspicious circumstances. Signs of a struggle at their house. A broken lamp, blood in the hallway carpet. I leaned against the counter, the walls suddenly too close. And the daughter, I whispered. The baby in the photos. She disappeared, Jace said. Marin, 3 years old. Never found. I think I stopped breathing. There were theories, he continued, voice low. That maybe he gave her away. Maybe she drowned too. Nothing ever confirmed. The case went cold. 2 years later. He reappeared in North Carolina with a new name. Your name. I couldn't speak. Mara, Jace said, serious now. You need to talk to the police. Stay away from him. This man didn't just lie. He walked away from a life no one held him accountable for. After the call, I just sat on the kitchen floor, clutching my phone like it had burned me. Kala found me 10 minutes later, still holding it, still frozen. I told her everything. She didn't say a word, just grabbed her keys and said, "We're going to the station." At the police department I gave them everything. Photos. The legal name change. The text message Reed sent. The photo album. The old address. I told them about the baby. About Lisa. About Marin. The officer nodded, took notes, and said they'd reopen the case. But without fresh evidence, there wasn't enough to arrest him. He had technically broken no laws. Not for changing his name. Not for remarrying. Not yet. That night he showed up. Reed, no Mason, stood on Kala's porch like a ghost from another life. He looked tired, calm, like he'd rehearsed what he was going to say. Kala opened the door but didn't let him in. I stood behind her. I could see the outline of him through the glass. "I just want to talk," he said. "Talk from there," I told him. I didn't kill her, he said. That's what this is about, right? You think I hurt Lisa? I swallowed. Did you? He shook his head. No. We were struggling. She had postpartum depression. She wouldn't get help. One night she took the car and never came back. They found her body a week later. I stared at him, unmoved. And Marin, your daughter. His eyes dropped. I didn't know what to do. Social services came. Panic. I told them she was with family, but I'd already placed her with strangers, people I found online. I was scared they'd blame me. I thought I was protecting her. Where is she now? Yes. I don't know. I felt something collapse inside me. You gave away your child, I said slowly, and tried to build a new life on top of that wreckage? You never even looked back. I didn't think I deserved to keep that life, he said. But I wanted to try again. I didn't expect to meet you. I didn't expect to love you. I stared at him, the man who made me coffee, who helped Eli learn to read, who made me believe I was safe. You made me your second chance, I said. And you never gave me the choice to know who you really were. I didn't mean to lie, he said. But you did. Calla stepped forward. Leave. Or I call the cops. He didn't argue. He just nodded. And walked away. The next morning I called a lawyer. I filed for legal separation. I requested full custody of Eli. I changed the locks on the house. I contacted his school and told them, under no circumstances, was he to be released to anyone but me or Calla. I updated every emergency contact. I wasn't just reacting, I was protecting. The police still couldn't arrest him. No active warrants. No new evidence. But they began formally reopening Lisa's case. Re-interviewing witnesses. Reviewing old files. The photo album I found. It was now part of an open investigation. I tried to focus on the basics. Eli. Meals. Laundry. Breathing. That night, Eli crawled into bed beside me. He was quiet for a minute, then asked, "Is Daddy coming back?" I swallowed the lump in my throat. "No, baby. Not for a while." Did he do something bad? I didn't lie. He made a mistake a long time ago. And now we just need to focus on keeping each other safe. He nodded, placed his little hand on my arm, and fell asleep just like that, trusting that I had it handled. And in that moment I knew I did. I didn't have all the answers, but I had clarity. Had purpose. I moved back into the house 2 weeks later. Felt different. Hello. So I made it mine again. I repainted the living room. Donated the couch we used to snuggle on. Got new curtains. I moved Eli's room across the hall, closer to mine. Not to erase Reed, but to take the space back. To reclaim it. Therapy helped. I started seeing someone the week after Reed left. At first, I couldn't even say his name without my voice breaking. But slowly, session by session, I found language for the storm I'd been trapped in. I stopped calling it heartbreak. I started calling it what it was. Betrayal. And I learned something powerful. Anger isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Steady. The kind that shows up when you realize you deserve better and won't settle for less ever again. The kind that builds boundaries you didn't know you needed. I used to think love meant forgiving everything. That it was about overlooking flaws to hold on to connection. Now I know it's also about truth. About safety. About being able to ask questions and trust the answers. You can't build a life on secrets. Eventually the floor will give way. I think the hardest part was realizing how much I didn't see. All those little moments, when Reed would change the subject, dodge questions about his past, get that distant look in his eyes when I brought up anything personal. I thought he was just private. Turns out he was hiding an entire life. That's how the worst lies work. Not through shouting but through silence. Through people who are just good enough at pretending love to keep you from asking more. One night when I was really struggling, my mom said something that hit me like a brick. "The truth always shows up eventually," she said. "Usually when you stop looking for it, and start living like you deserve it." That quote is now on a sticky note above my bathroom mirror. Every morning I read it. And I believe it more each day. Kala's been my anchor through all of this. She helped me pack Reed's. No Mason's things. We left them in the garage and changed the door code. She drove me to my lawyer appointments. She watched Eli when I couldn't get out of bed. She made me laugh when I forgot I still could. She reminded me who I was before all of this. And helped me rediscover who I am now. And who I am now. I'm not the same woman who smiled at Reed across a tech conference room all those years ago. I don't trust as easily. But I trust myself. And that's something I didn't know I was missing until everything else fell apart. When someone lies to you that deeply, you start questioning everything. Was I blind? Was I too forgiving? Did I miss the signs because I didn't want to see them? But you know what? I wasn't weak. I was hopeful. And that's not something to regret. I don't regret loving Reed. I regret who he turned out to be, but not the life we built because it gave me Eli. It gave me the strength to rebuild from truth instead of illusion. People keep asking if I'll ever forgive him. Here's the truth, I don't need to. Forgiveness is not a requirement for closure. Truth is. And reclaiming my life. That's the real healing. I filed for full custody. The detective assigned to Lisa's case calls me every week. They're working. Slowly. Carefully. I don't know if justice will come, but I do know the lies are finally unraveling. Sometimes I still dream about the little girl in the photo. Marin. I see her standing at the edge of that lake, dark eyes waiting for someone to come. And when I wake up, I whisper a promise. I won't stop telling the truth. Not now. Not ever. This isn't just a story about betrayal. It's about clarity. It's about saying no more. No more secrets. No more pretending. No more dimming your instincts because someone else says you're imagining things. And if there's one thing, just one, that I hope this story leaves you with, it's this. If something feels off, ask. If the answers feel wrong, dig deeper. You are not overreacting. You're not dramatic. You are not asking for too much. You are asking for the truth. And you deserve to have it. Thank you for hearing my story. If it made you feel seen, if it reminded you to trust your gut, I hope you'll do one thing. Share it. Because somewhere out there, someone else is sitting with a feeling they've been too afraid to face. And maybe this story will give them the courage. Take care of yourself. Protect your peace. And never, ever apologize for asking the hard questions. You deserve the truth. Always.